Ah, oh, it's recording in the cloud. Okay. Now let's continue with what we were doing. We have to get out of this Azure directory. Yeah, it's something, I'm sorry I was not available really as last weekend. It was too much was planned way back, so I couldn't really be available. But yeah, also the majority of students, what they were saying was also something that I had to consider. But yeah, let's try to move ahead. We were talking about identity governance, and many of the things here are many of the things here are something that I am implementing in my company, and that's why they're very important. Or I'm letting you know that yes, we do implement this. This is not like something that is there's so many features, but do company even use it? If so, sometimes that question does. Oh, okay. That the companies do use it. So Jimmy is saying Windows Defender is free inbuilt. How come I didn't know that? Defender. No, like it's antivirus. Where is threat protection? You mean to say Microsoft has given a free antivirus for everyone with Windows 11? Quick scan. Protection for your device. You're kidding me. Why are you purchasing that from Microsoft? Okay, so like seriously? Like, why did I know that? Okay, anyway, this is, you're kidding me, man. This cannot be free. Microsoft has given a free antivirus to all of us. Oh, ah. Okay, so let me be in shock for the rest of the 10 minutes because when did this happen? And is that really like some good antivirus? Because in production environment in our company, yes, Defender is excellent antivirus and we didn't have any virus issues. But to every Windows 11, there is antivirus, free antivirus that is like seriously, wow. Yeah, it depends. Oh, okay. I mean, not corporate one, but for personal one. Okay, so personal use, Microsoft has given an antivirus. Amazing. Okay. Wow. Okay. I am scratching my head. How come I did not know that? Okay, so thank you, Jamin. I get to learn a lot from you. Okay, so here you go, guys, identity governance. And then there's entitlement management. We have done that before. In that, so these are very important stuff. This is very important stuff, and governance really comes in the interview. Uh, and you have to then mention some of the main features there when it comes to identity governance. The governance of the credentials or governance of username passwords. How do you govern them? When you assign a username password, you just give it to the user and forget it, or you have to actually manage it that hey, that user is a employee of the company, or that user is a outsider, or that user is a vendor that has, or contractor that has just temporarily come to you to come to your company and for 2 weeks, maybe 6 months project, and then he or she will be gone. So are why don't we just make sure that when that user is gone, you disable the user account, and what resources you have given access to that user, right? So that is all about governance of the identity. Oh, okay. Wi-Fi is my, I hope it gets sorted. Now, we were talking about entitlement management, and we had then gone for, uh, you know, some use cases here as well. And we had created a package there last time, access package, that which application uh, you want to allow which people needs to access which applications for how long and why. And so you should be asking many questions, right? When you're giving access to any person, and then you want to approve, and not only approve. Suppose you've given access to user John to a application here in Azure, and then you have every 6 months or every 3 months or every year, you can revise if user John still need access to a set of applications, right? So governance is very serious stuff there, and those who are good in governance, I mean, in the interview you can also talk a lot about governance and implement. If you're already responsible for Microsoft 365 services in your company, then you should implement governance right away, right? So that is, the governance is very important, and the identity governance or the username password management, it goes a long way. If you keep an eye on every user and username, password, or credentials or identity, then you will not get a lot of threats in your company. So you must keep an eye on every user's credentials, right? Um, Now, access package is one thing that we created last time. I hope you are repeating all the labs as well. Then there are catalogs here. So catalogs is just the type of you know well, as the word says, catalog, that you want to gather some information under the topic. So you can just create, like, there are technical consultants. I think I've gone through that too, because it shows that technical consultants is created there. You can create a catalog of, oh, there are technical consultants here, there are managers here, there are so entitlement management or identity governance, governance of usernames and password, or governance of credentials, right? So when you're creating packages, you can create a package for managers in the company, or you can click create, and oh, you have to give a description. This catalog is for managing, for the governance, for governance of managers in the company, governance of um, identity governance for manager. We can just say is for identity governance of managers in the company, right? So you could just write like that and create many catalogs here, and then use it in access packages as well. Connected organizations, actually, we should be going for dashboard, because this will all come within one or two of the dashboard. So I'm going to go to getting started, because there are some main features here that I want you to show in identity governance. It is very important. It will come in your interviews. It will come in the exam, and it will. And if you already are handling Microsoft Azure and Microsoft 365 in your company, then you must implement all these. I have implemented this access review, and so far it's going on fine. And managers are sent an email about certain security groups or email groups, and then managers choose, managers check that which employee is part of a security group, right? So when we come to access review, we're going to do the lab on that. But let me just go through use cases to control your external user lifecycle. We have gone through that, and review common use cases. If I click that button, so it takes us to external user lifecycle. External user lifecycle we have gone through before as well, that um, you can manage which all the contractors outside, when do they join the company, how long will they be there in the company, and when they leave, you need to disable their username, password, right? And which applications they access, and why, and for how long. So there are so many questions that you should ask and follow up with those questions, right? So we've done that. If I go down here, create access reviews of all guests in teams and groups. uh, so create access review. If I go for create access review here, so access review is, well, the second thing that I wanted to show you. And what is this? Access review, pretty much like the access package we have created in last class. So access review is that suppose there's user John here, right? User John is one of the employees, and you created a email group, right? Email group, and that email group um, has John, Bob, Sandy, and Robin. So there are so many users here, right? And one of them is John as well. So now access review just means that every 3 months or 6 months or 1 year, right? 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, right? So 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, you will be checking this email group and see, oh, okay, John is here, okay, and Bob is here, Bob, okay, and Robin is here, and Sandy's here. So after 6 months, you check again that group. The automatic email will come to you, uh, and it will say that, hey, please review your email group. Suppose this is a very critical email group that the email group name might be sensitive uh, files checking uh, group. So these are so as the name says, this email group, only those people should be there who have access to sensitive files of the company, right? Suppose it's very, very critical group. So obviously you will configure access review. We can configure access review only on critical groups and teams. Oh, well, groups and teams and actually SharePoint access, but yeah, thing is that okay. So access review, this is a very important group, and every 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, whatever time you put there, you can check that. Oh, Bob is still in this group. He actually left the company. Why is he still in the group, and why desktop support did not remove that person, Bob? So you will just there's a approve button and there's a deny button. There will be that when you are doing access review. So you can in front of every student. Oh, did I say student? Instead of every employee, right? So you will, whoever you approve, they will stay in the group. Whoever you click deny, they will be automatically removed from the group. So the main exercise is that, okay, you added John, Bob, Robin, and Sandy here in this group, but should they remain in this group forever? Or every 6 months or 1 year, you should check. Yeah, okay, John still is checking sensitive files. Bob, yeah, okay. Robin, Sandy, yeah, they're all supposed to be okay. But and then after 1 year, then you say, oh, Bob has left the company. Okay, deny. So this means that unauthorized access to sensitive files is being taken care of even by the uh, department department managers. So department, so you can put this as a job for one of the employee of the department or a member of the department or department director can review all the critical uh, email groups, right? So this is access review. Like you just get automatic emails from whatever time you want to select there. So that's just the logic about access review. Let's try to create that now and check it out. Check it out. Okay. Okay. Access review. So identity governance, and here we are talking about access review, and this is the diagram for that. All right. So if anyone does not have access to this, so yeah, let me and no. Okay, so here when we go back here, so there's access to, so I've gone to so identity governance, and then uh, entitlement management. Suppose I went there, but this was getting started here. When I come down to review common cases for managed group membership, control access, I clicked here, but we have done the create access package already. So we're going to go for create access reviews for all guests in teams and groups. This is this they're saying for guests. So if I go to the diagram, yes, these users could be guests from outside, maybe some consultant, or they could be permanent employees as well. So they could be guests, and we know how to invite guests in previous classes. We have done that lab as well, right? So guests or employees, anyone there, you can create an access review for. Okay. So if I go back here, there is access review in the identity governance. So I'm going to click create access review. And review is, hey, what do you want to review about? So I will say, okay, I want to review about teams and groups. Basically, I want all the departmental managers to review about their email groups. Suppose there's a sales department email group, sales group, and then there's a marketing department email group. So the head of the department or someone responsible in the department should review those groups every whatever time you put there, every week. Wow, that's too much. But every 3 months, every 6 months, every year month. Well, there's no such thing as year month. Year month. In March, we can put year month. Anyway, so here, teams plus groups. So reviews go. All Microsoft 365 groups with guest users select teams plus groups. So um, actually, I just want to keep it for groups. So if I put, yeah, there you go. Select teams plus groups. So then it says select a group that you want to have a access review. Review of users' access to this group. So if I click select group here, and then we have created some groups there. So I'll go for marketing group, marketing department email group. So I'm just actually it's not an email group, it's a security group. Well, I'll click select. And do you want to review access to that group for guest users or all users? So I'm just going to click whoever is the member of this group called marketing department. I want to review their access to this group. Why are they still members of this group for after this much time, after that much time? Suppose this group has very sensitive documents also being emailed, and director is also part of this group, and managers of marketing department is also part of this group. So you don't want any unwanted person to be there, or anyone who has no concern with marketing or marketing department is also part of the group, right? So that hackers then steal all the documents this way. So you have to do a review, right? So this is the group when all its users we want to go for review. And then we need to set time as well, right? In a public review, B2B direct connect users and teams in shared channels are included in access reviews. B2B business to business direct connect users and teams are not supported in reviews of all web subjects, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so they're just saying that business to business users, which these are those users who have their own email address like Gmail, Yahoo, and they are just invited from outside and kind of guests. So they are not part of the review yet. Anyway, inactive users on tenant level only. So there also are inactive users. So suppose there is a user here, and that user is user's Sandy. Suppose she is going on trips as well, and she hasn't logged in for maybe she's on mat leave, right? Or she hasn't logged in for like 6 months now. So inactive users could also be denied access automatically. You can set that up, or you can check when you're reviewing that and you say, hey, Sandy's here. She hasn't logged in for like 6 months now for this reason or that reason. So you can deny access to it. Sandy, and Sandy will be automatically removed from the group. So I'm just going to click next review. And then there is reviews, multi-stage review you want, or just specified reviewers who will review this group. So group owner, whoever is the group owner, he or she can review the group. And otherwise, users review their own access. Wow, seriously? Are you kidding me? So the members of the group will review their own access. They will say, "Oh, I want to stay," or maybe they want to go, but the manager or the department director doesn't want him or her to go away, and so we should not be putting that in users' hands, but up to whoever or managers of users. So whoever is the reviewer, I'll select managers of users. Any of the manager of the marketing department will be reviewing this security group and who are the members of the security group and fallback reviewers. So suppose the manager is not available, who will be responsible? So I'll click that. And suppose the manager says that, oh, I put Alex in charge of reviewing if the manager of marketing department, am not available to review, then fallback reviewer is Alex, right? So you can just put some user here as well. And then duration is specify recurrence of review. So in 3 days. So, okay, first day, the email came and you did not review. You didn't have time or you were just lazy. So second day, email will also come. Third day, the email will also come, and after that it will just want some decision, or it will automatically do something for you because you're not really doing anything about this. So 3 days emails will keep reminding you that, hey, you need to review this group and review recurrence. Weekly or monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, and annually. So depends on the criticality, depends on the sensitivity of the group and what kind of emails are sent there. Are there company documents that are sent to this group, which are very, very sensitive and they need to be in very few hands? So then you can go monthly as well. You can go even weekly as well. Maybe it's a 2 week project or 6 week project, right? Or quarterly as well, or semi-annually, right? So so I have put actually semi-annually or every 6 months we review in my company some of the groups that we identified as important groups, right? And who is the member of those groups and why. So semi-annually is there. Start date is end of so start date is today, and well, every 6 months forever, it will keep on reminding you. Or you can end that. Suppose this group was created for a project, and you know that the project will finish in 6 to 8 months. So then you can change this. You can put a specific timing there. Otherwise, it's never been every 6 months the email will keep on coming, right? So next settings, and then auto apply results to resource upon completion settings. So when the review is completed, how do you want this to go ahead? So auto apply resource results to resource. So suppose you put the result there as that okay, John is approved, Bob is denied, Robin is approved to stay in the group. Sandy is approved to stay in the group. But Bob is denied to stay in the group. So this means, suppose you click that, apply. In front of the users, apply and deny comes, right? So then in that case, whatever results were there, it will apply. If reviewers don't respond, the main reviewer and the fallback reviewer don't respond, then do you want remove access for the users setting? If reviews don't respond, to remove access or take recommendations while auto apply results to resource is enabled could potentially lead to all access to this resource being revoked if the reviewers fail to respond. So if nobody responds to reviews, it will remove all the users. Seriously, are you kidding me? Okay, so approve access, or all users will remain in the group, or all users will be removed from the group, right? Or take recommendations. Maybe you can just let the system say that, hey, recommend to me who's supposed to be there and who's not supposed to be there. Seriously. what would Microsoft? So no change. Well, I'm putting no change, but there are many other options. So the thing is that when the group, um, when you review the group, what do you want? When the review is done, what do you want to do? At the end of the review, send notification to. So if the review was done, send notification to who? So suppose Alex was supposed to be the fallback reviewer. So notification will come to Alex that, hey, review has been done, or nobody checked the review. So whatever is the result of that will be sent to Alex. And enable reviewer decisions helpers, no sign in within 30 days. Um, so if enabled system provides recommendations to reviewers based on enabled criteria such as last sign in on. So if users did not log in, user to group affiliation, user has been active or not. So this kind of report about the user will help the decision to be made by the director easily. So some user did not log in for 30 days. This report will go to the reviewer. Oh, why is this user in this group if he or she did not even log in for last 30 days? Or, oh, this user to group affiliation is that this user did not send email for last 1 year, any email. He or she is just there and not very affiliated or not very active as well. So this report will go to the reviewer, and then the reviewer can decide to keep the user or remove the user, right? So justification required. Yes, if you approve the user, put a justification. Well, he or she is a permanent employee, or he or she is taking part in the decision or in the documentation. You can put any kind of justification there as well, or reason. Email notifications, yes, users will get, actually reviewers will get email notifications, and reminders to the reviewer will still be there. Hey, did you review? First day, second day, did you review? Third day, did you review? And then, there will be no change if this is what you decided here, or all will be approved or all will be removed from the group, whatever you decide here. So I put no change. Um, and additional content for reviewer email. So just the reviewer email, you can just put something extra here that please review within 3 days. Um, Otherwise, this review will be escalated to higher authorities, right? So you review it, otherwise your managers will review. So this is a warning to the managers who are supposed to review that. Hey, managers, your managers will be then told that you did not review that. So, okay, anyway, review plus create, and then it says that put a review name there. So access to, I had to create this for 30 groups in my company, and there are like 200 plus groups there, email groups, right? Each department has many email groups. So I had to identify important ones and then ask the directors, hey, is this important? Is that important? Director mentioned, yes, this, and that group is important. Then I had to create all this for all 30 groups. It was not fun. Okay, so review access to marketing group. And here also it's every 3 months. Okay, 6 months. Yeah, that's what I can figure. So every 6 month membership of this group will be checked. So governance is so detailed in Microsoft that it really gives managers a peace of mind as well. Although it's extra work, but it gives you peace of mind that wow, we can keep an eye on our group memberships, because very sensitive and important files are shared. Very sensitive and important information or talk or conversation is shared in the groups, right? So not everyone should be part of the group. And suppose somebody is part of the group, should he or she be still part of that group? You should decide that too, right? Okay, so I'm going to click create here. So access to marketing group, there's the first email should arrive, or one email should arrive that hey, XW was. So I'm going to go to the locally logged in user. This is the user. I'm logging into the email of this user, Outlook, right? And identity protection Tuesday course on that's old. Uh, and yeah, this is identity protection is also very interesting report that you will always get when you're an admin, Microsoft 365 global admin, that who are the risky users and which are the risky sign-ins. And this report, whenever it's obviously one or two or three, then always follow up and make sure that you check that about which user Microsoft thinks that this user is a risky user. But yeah, I was here for initial report of access review. Otherwise, I have put there actually 6 months. So we can, yeah, either the report will come Sunday, Monday, or one day, Sunday or Monday, right? Okay, anyway, so I'm just gonna go back here, and maybe I can just check if I can change the settings to today. Reviewers. Oh, seriously, can't change anything. Like once created, it's just created. Because when you create a report, it does send you the first that day. Settings are here. Current settings. Is there time? Can I make it today? Reviewers enable scheduling. Okay, start date is 7:8 yeah today. So end date is okay, and I cannot change that. You're kidding me. Well, anyway, the email does come, but maybe it's thinking or it's creating some kind of, trying to prepare for something. But yeah, it should come that particular day when it was configured once, and then after 6 months, right? So it does make you review that day and when it was configured. So yeah, it might take some time for the email to come. Until then, we're going to go for the next feature as well. And so access review is one thing. One of the most important thing is this the feature. One of the most important feature is privileged identity management. So um, this is uh, uh, till now we were talking about access reviews and access packages, right? If I go to entitlement management and we go to suppose I click review the create access package, we created that. This was for regular users, right? And this was access package, and then we just create now access review. This is for regular people. But what about those who are who have some roles, who are administrators, who are here, like privileged identity management? So if you were given any privilege, suppose you went for the job interview and you were selected, and it's a 35 per hour job or 40 per hour job, and you're earning like say 5,000, 6,000 per month, or $8,000 per month, and you are given a role here because of your expertise and skills. And if I go to roles and admin, so these are all the roles: application administrator, application developer, attack payload author. It goes on authentication administrator. It goes on cloud application administrator, cloud app security administrator. So you should know cloud app, what is cloud app, and how to administer it. So you can become administrator, desktop analytics administrator, right? So if you are given any privileges, then still, obviously, this is more responsibility. With power comes responsibility. You heard that in movies, right? Okay, so yeah, when you're given some power, then you will be checked. Somebody will be keeping an eye on you. That with this all power, compliance administrator and directory readers, directory writers. So these are many of majority of these are very very sensitive roles, and it gives you a lot of higher privileges to do a lot of stuff, right? So um, the thing is that if you get any of these privileges, exchange administrator, right? So that's the next course that is starting, that you will be handling critical, emails of the company. Emails are the backbone of a company business, right? So if you're an exchange administrator, you have access to all the emails of every employee. So somebody needs to keep an eye on you, right? So that's where the privilege identity management comes, PIM. And so Jamin says in the chat, who would check for global admin? Ouch. Another global admin. Ah. So yeah, in my company, what is going on? Microsoft recommends, first of all, that there should be two minimum global admins. So when it comes to uh, PIM, right? PIM. So it's why am I writing here? When there is slide. So PIM is privileged identity governance, and then we keep an eye on users who have been assigned admin powers, right? Or higher privileged roles, right? So that is one thing. Now, yes, then highest privilege is global admin, right? Global admin. And Microsoft recommends to have minimum two global admins and maximum, well, it doesn't go more than five, but four, maximum four, and not more than that. Recommendation is that, the more global admins, I mean, then we have patients, right? So minimum, but actually there's no maximum here. Like, I mean, they say that minimum and maximum is two, basically, that minimum two, yeah. So suppose there's one global admin, and that one global admin forgot his or her password. Ouch. So that's a big ouch. So when you have two global admins, at least other global admin, okay, I will log in from this, and then because global admin can do anything across Microsoft 365 environments, right? So there should be two. Even if there is one global admin in practice, there should be another user account that should be given that these powers of global admins, and the same guy who is logging in from a user with global admin privileges, suppose forgets the password of that or the password somehow changed, the same guy can go to the other account and log in from that is also global admin and recover his own global admin account privileged user, right? So the thing is that minimum two, even if you have one global admin guy, their person there, he or she there, but you should have two accounts, user accounts with global admins. But in my company, it is I'm the global admin. Another developer is a global admin, and my director, she is a global admin as well. So, but we have another company who are sharing this tenant with us. So there are two global admins from there, so we have five total, which is not a very good idea. Anyway, those guys, they take care of their environment. We take care of our environment. Okay, so Microsoft recommends to have minimum two global admins, max four, but minimum and max is two actually. What Microsoft says, don't make more global admins. Okay, that's going to be an issue. That's one thing. And second thing is, let's go to PIM. If you go to PIM, Privileged Identity Management, so obviously with more power comes more responsibility, right? So manage access. Users with excessive access are vulnerable in the event of account compromise. A hacker gets somehow gets access to your user account and password, maybe your cell phone as well. Maybe you forgot your cell phone somewhere, but hacker somehow knew your cell phone's login in, the way you were logging, the pin of cell phone. So he or she went inside your cell phone. Then he or she also knew your username, password of your company. That's the two things are that are needed. So MFA comes with cell phone and multi-factor authentication, right? And then he or she just puts multi-factor authentication as well. And then there you go. Now you're a legit global admin hacker, a hacker who's a global admin now. Well, so ensure your organization manages to least privilege by periodically reviewing, renewing, or extending access to resources. So now Microsoft has a idea about global admins. They say that we follow the policy of zero trust. Da, da, da. So even they don't trust global admins. It's not about don't trust thing. It's about don't give permanent powers to anyone. So what does that mean? So, Microsoft mentions to follow uh, zero trust policy. Zero trust policy. Uh, they say that we should not give all out power to anyone permanently, right? Permanently. So exactly, just in time, JIT as well. So mention. So the thing is that Microsoft ventures to follow zero trust policy. They say that we should not give all out power to anyone permanently, which means that, well, for example, I that E, for example, um, user John, who is a global admin, uh, must not stay as a global admin permanently. Oh, what does that mean? Permanently. It means that um, user John's user account must not have global admin privilege all the time. Privilege all the time. Then what? What do we do then? Okay, he needs global admin privilege to do certain critical tasks, some important company-wide tasks, company-wide changes. He needs to do that, right? So how would he do that? When when user John needs to have the uh, global admin privilege for to do certain task, he should request it. Well, it's kind of he himself is a global admin, so who would he request? I mean, all requests goes to global admin, right? So he would request himself. Yes, actually, uh, uh, go through the procedure of justifying why you need this privilege and for how long. Wow. So you are the expert there in the company with the highest privilege, and you have to justify every time that, hey, I need to make some changes on the organization level. I need to make some changes that requires global admin privilege. So you have to give a reason and for how long you need. That's what you need to define. And when you're done with the task, your privilege will be removed. And you're the only one there who has the expertise to do that. And still, you should not be also having global admin privilege uh, forever, right? But this is how it is in companies. It's been going. That Microsoft says that suppose you have been given permanently a global admin account, a privilege, and some hacker hacks you. that's it. You're gone, right? Your that hacker will do all kind of damages with the highest privileges here, right? So if suppose a hacker hacks your account, but at that time you had not requested global admin account privilege, right? Because there's an audit trail. There's auditing going on that at this time global admin privilege was requested, and for that long, global admin privilege was used. And these changes were done by the global admin privilege. So all those are tracked and traced, and alerts go to certain people that this is happening. So certain people can then react to that. Hey, okay, yeah. So suppose you user John needed global admin privilege for next 2 hours. So you will request that it will automatically be given to you, but that alert will go to your director as well. So director will know that okay, user John is has requested global admin for 2 hours, and you may have gotten approval from the director already. So director is expecting you to get global admin privilege for 2 hours, right? But suppose a hacker hacked your account and requested the global admin privilege because now the hacker occupies their account, right? But that alert went to director, and director will be thinking, hey, there was no approval. John asked me, and the request is, and he requested global admin privilege for 2 hours. But so the director will ask user John, hey, are you using global admin privileges without my approval? And user John might say, no, I'm not doing that. And then director and user John will be screaming, ah, like, hey, user John's account or global admin account is hacked now, and red alert, whoop, whoop, right? All this. So the thing is, if there's a system in place, if somebody hacked a global admin account, at least others will know, and you could be alerted right away even. And there you go. So yeah, there should be systems in place. So the last is then we can create the user global admin slash copy or global admin for limited time. Yeah, there should be two global admin accounts, right? Two. So if from one it was suspected that it was hacked, from the other account go inside and stop. I mean, try to stop things and try to disable that account, because a global admin account can disable a global admin account, right? Any lower account than global admin cannot disable global admin account. So yes, that's why Microsoft says minimum two, right? Two accounts should be there. So anyway, there could be situation where you are, your account will be compromised. So you have to be very careful. And one thing that you must do, obviously, we must have MFA enabled. Obviously, we've been talking about that before as well. MFA must be enabled, multi-factor authentication. And your cell phone, obviously, your cell phone might save you from getting hacked, unless the hacker hacked your cell phone as well. Okay, anyway. But the alerts will come to you, so you will be alerted that hey, I'm not trying to log in. So who requested this? And the alert came for that, right? So those alerts should really wake you up, unless you're given sleep medicine, and it could be very someone who really knows you very well. So what am I talking about? Okay. Anyway, so let's go ahead and talk. Move forward as well. So manage access. So privilege identity management. There's manage access. I'm going to click the manage here. And so what happens here is, and I may have shown you before that, when you're giving higher privilege to anyone, when you go to privilege management first and then go to Azure AD rules. I went from here, but we can go from here as well. Azure AD rules. And then here, manage rules, right? So it's the same thing, right? So privilege management, Azure AD rules, and then rules, right? Now, when you're assigning through privilege identity management, so there are benefits And I've mentioned that before as well. That in fact, this is the best practice. That if you are going inside and assigning that to someone, so you would always add eligible assignment. You will not activate it right away. So what is the difference between eligible and active assignment? We have talked about that before. Suppose I'm giving application administrator, which is a very high privilege to manage applications, and applications contain critical data, right, for the users. So scope type, directory. Suppose I select a member here, and Adele will be application administrator. So I'll just click select, and then I click next, right? So we talked about that before, but this is part of the privilege identity management, that always give the role as eligible. Do not activate it right away. Eligible means that there will be an email sent to the user, and the user has to manually check that email, click the link, and go to a page and activate that role, him or herself. So there's a procedure to to activate that role. And also, when you go for eligible, you can also put one more thing here, that it's not permanently eligible. So this role will expire, or this role will be taken away from you automatically on this date, which is 1 year. Wow, seriously, are you kidding me? So 8/7. So if I change this to 8/8/23. So after 1 month, this role will be automatically taken away from me. Or I have given in my company this role for half an hour. So same date here, and just change the time here. After half an hour, it was expired, right? Automatically. So then there's no concern. And I told the user, hey, go to your email, check that role, click it, enable it for yourself. One user, I gave that this role for 1 week, right? And that user didn't know, or I forgot to tell him that you have to manually enable it. I told him, hey, I've given you the role of application administrator. The user said, thank you. Now, for 1 week, that user was trying to do things that can only be done through application administrator role. He did not go to the email, did not click the link, and did not activate it for himself. So there's a manual process with it. If you click active, then he doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to go to email, click the link, and then activate for himself. It just gets activated right away, but you have to put some kind of justification here, that why are you giving anyone permanently, or why are you activating it right away, and why is it permanent, right? So always go for eligible. And then, oh, it went back to 1 year, so I'll change that to 1 month again, right? And then I'll click assign. So that role was given to me, or to Adele, okay, to Adele, right? And she would be getting an email because of this topic. I mean, let me just show you the email as well. New in private window, and I need you Adele's username password. So she would get an email now, right? And Azure directory, users, all users, and Adele username password. I think she got. Oh, there was an email that I received. Oh yeah. So I gave. So Adele Vance is assigned the application administrator role of Microsoft for Microsoft directory, and but she's eligible. She's not yet having this role, right? So I am the administrator, I'm the global administrator, so I get that email as well. But I want to show you the user side, that what happens on the user side. So if I go to users, active users, and go to Adele, and then I don't know the password, so I'll just go for require this user to change password. No. Permanently create a password, reset password. I need to know the password, right? So okay, this is the username password that I need now, just to show you quickly. So I'll go for, I open the notepad and there I need a username password now, right? So username is this. So I'll go to in private window of Firefox and portal.office.com and next, and then yeah, whatever the password was. So it's sign in and yeah, next. Oh man, don't ask me for MFA. And yeah, she's in six. Oh, okay. What am I doing? There's six. Okay, 647554944 6, and then next, and I get the text. Okay, it's 67041267042. Let me log in and open the email and check next to the app password. Start by creating a name for your app password. This will help differentiate it from others. What name would you like to use? Minimum characters 8 app password. Okay. Your organization requires you to set up the following methods for proving who you are. I think Adele was part of that conditional access policy that we created. Okay. So that password could be small ABC, capital C, 123, without 123. Are we good? No, we're not good. Real length is 8 characters. 8, more than 8, right? 4, 4, yeah. What name would you like to use? Okay. This is marketing. Okay, marketing. That's it. Next. And this is the name and marketing is the password. Suppose I want to use. So this is just the uh, extra security they're giving. So you can make a copy of that and done. Move it. Why don't you move it? Do no, don't stay signed in. I just want to go to this. Ugh. Okay, then definitely this is the first time I'm logging in. Go. Okay, yeah. Outlook. Look out for Outlook. All right, there you go. There you not go. So fresh. It's a totally new email. So one day, Monday or Sunday, Adele will get the privilege. And yep. So I put it there. I'm just gonna go back here. This is the administrator account. A user account. Yeah, I created that username password. Other than that, yes, I have given Adele the privilege, but she needs to activate it, right? Because it was eligible. I hope I gave eligible. Um, so, uh, yeah, eligible, and I'll go inside this, where privileged identity management is here, and Azure roles, and then roles, and then application administrator, and yeah, Adele is there. She has been given the role today, right? And membership is direct. Okay, Adele. So she should be receiving an email one day, Monday or Sunday. Maybe there's something seriously wrong with the Microsoft emails today. So she should be getting that. Okay. Anyway, we'll wait and I'll keep this account open. And when it comes, then I'll show you that, okay, this is the way it looks like. So let's try to, but this is all procedure. The user has to manually enable it otherwise. And one more thing that we can do with the each role, and that is even more important, and that is, I'm just going to go to privilege identity management, then Azure AD roles, then roles. This is the way I've been coming here. That you can configure. You can see first of all eligible. There are two people who are eligible, right? Second thing is that you can um select all this. You can check all this. You can access review of all the rules. Remember that we were doing access review for the group, but access review of, suppose you want to go for administrators. Who are the five? Suppose in my company there are five. So who are the five global admins? So every 3 months or 6 months, you can make an access review that, hey, does this guy really need to be global admin now? Or after 6 months, hey, does this guy really need to be? So you can keep on checking that, and you can keep on doing, does this guy? There's a pending request that is also showing here, and actually, yeah, that request should come here. Approve request. So I haven't approved anything, so there is no approval here as well. And review access. So there's no review request as well. We didn't set up any review access for privileged roles, but you can keep an eye on the privileged role, who has these roles and why and for how long, right? So my roles, application administrator right now, I've given myself as well, but that user Adele is also having this. There's a settings area here, right? For this, all these roles. In the settings area, there's global administrator, not modified, and these are all the edge administrator, exchange administrator. There are settings there. So if I click that, now it says that, hey, the global administrator role, do you want to give it to any user for maximum hours? What happens after 8 hours? After 8 hours, the user requests that role again for next 8 hours from the email where the user was sent that email with that, hey, you have the you are eligible to have this role. So once the 8 hour finishes, the user goes back to the email, click the link, and again request the role automatically for next 8 hours with a justification, right? So if I check again, mhm, okay, one day, Monday or Sunday it will come. But right, I received email for activation one. Oh, okay. Sandeep was doing that. Uh, use another user. Oh, not Adele. Okay. Hey,
I
how about
tested
I
out. Yeah,
give
it
this
works.
because I just opened that email now. So Azure AD roles. How about I give another role to this user, right? Attack payload author or
I
so
given
compliance
Azure
administrator.
DevOps. Yeah,
I'll
like
give
just said.
Adele compliance administrator quickly because now I opened the email and maybe it was not set up properly or something. So I'll give, but why not Adele? Maybe I put some other policy on that users that the email is not. I'll just quickly check now. Eligible and eligible for 1 year for this. Okay. And assign. So the user has to receive an email. User should be receiving an email, and user have to manually activate that, right? So another role has been assigned, and I need to go there and check it out. Are you kidding me? Okay, I'll go for another user. Seriously, by now the email should have arrived. Seriously. Okay, so I'll go for another user, as you said. So, oh, that this is me. Hey, if that the time when I received that email, see, I just gave her compliance administrator. So that's the same time the email should come there as well. Ugh. Yeah, this user, I think I've put some other restrictions. So okay, I'll give it to some other user quickly. So I could just show the user side. How about some totally new user who has Microsoft 365 E5 developer account? E5 must be there. So how about Lynn Robbins? Okay, Lynn Robbins. I need her username password. And I'll put it in my notepad. And then I'll go back and assign her the privileges. What? Oh yeah, I created just that account so that email came. Priority, Azure ready roles, and okay, application administrator, and add assignment. This time I'm giving it to Lynn Robbins, right? Robinson in trouble. Okay, those who have seen this in Netflix, that was so cool, right? Okay, anyway, so November. So I'm just gonna go for Lynn, L-Y. Was it L-Y? Yeah, Lynn Robbins. Okay, select next. Eligible, not permanent. 1 year. Okay, no problem. I just want to show the eligibility. And Lynn has this, so I will receive an email obviously, but I need to log in from Lynn's account now. So I will go back to this. This is so not good. What happened to it else? Okay, let me go to Lynn and yeah. So let's and sign in. Okay, that's Lynn's account, and it will ask me MFA, I guess. Yeah, I want to set up a different method. Text me the code. Well, actually, that's the method I want to set up. Okay, 647-554-9446. Ah, skip setups. Too late. Oh, I skipped the setup. Yay. Okay. Why don't you move it? No, wait. We want to. Yes, exactly. Sandeep, thank you. You checked it, and it's the other user. So Lynn got the privileged identity management or PIM email that she is now application administrator, but not yet. So this is the end user experience now. View or activate the role, and she has to go through this now. And she has to activate that role, right? So, oh, skip that. Good. And see that. And stay signed in, no. And now she is on this window where she has to come and activate it. So this is the procedure of the user that you have to manually activate that. And when you are activating, you have to request, uh, I needed this role for next 3 hours, or I need it for maximum 8 hours. And I need to fix an issue with company application, right? So you can ask for maximum time, or you can ask for whatever time you think it's just a half an hour job. Still, you're just asking only 2 hours, right? So, users should try to get as less hours as possible because your account now has privilege for 8 hours. Within 8 hours, if attack happens on you, then obviously you're at risk of putting the whole company to trouble. So the lesser privilege you ask, the better you are, right? So finish the work, get rid of the privilege, right? That should be the mindset. So activate. So when 8 hours finish, you have to come back to the email, come back to this page, and then request more 8 hours more, or 5 hours more, or 2 hours more. And this is all audited. This is all being saved that this user requested this privilege for that long, and again requested this privilege for that leg, and then again requested that privilege. So see this? So now you got the privilege. So this is a very good way to put some checks and balances on what privileges you are getting. Skip setup. No, don't stay signed in. And that page did load again, but now she got an email now that your application administration role is now active. So you have to go through this email, and remember, you have to save this email because once 8 hours are done, you come back here, you click again this, and then activate the role again for next whatever number of hours, maximum 8 hours, right? So this is very good procedure, and this means that you can request even global admin this way. That go to your email, unless you um, you know had some issue logging into your account itself, then that's a very big deal. But you go there, you request this, and get the global admin privilege for 8 hours or 4 hours or 5 hours, and then it expires automatically. Next time you need it, you come back here. Yes, you need access to your email, but this is zero trust that global admin can also do this. While the other global admin could be permanent, and one of the global admins could go through this, the other could be. So otherwise, if you block if you put both global admin into the same procedure, and something wrong happens, then you lock yourself out as well. So anyway, but all other privileges, this is the way. You just tell them that, hey, you want to activate that again, it will be audited, and request will go from your Outlook. So we are keeping an eye on you, on your activity. So that's checks and balances are there. And you suppose you don't need the global admin or application administrator role, you don't need for next 3 days. And you're doing your work, and then after third day, you at once need the application administrator privilege. You come back here again activate it, and then use it, and then just let it expire, right? So this is the excellent check and balance uh, that has been offered by privileged identity management. So now, when we go there, so access review also, I should have put that email there because I wanted to show you the access review from inside, and Adele account was not good. So I hope I can change it to a reviewer to this Lynn. Manager is settings. Okay. Can I change the manager here? Reviewer. Require reason for approval, scheduling when completed. One user group, add end of reviews and notification to this. Okay, here I can change this to, even Adele is there. I can go for Lynn and add her as a reviewer as well. Oh, only one. I cannot click Lynn unless I uncheck. So what? Oh, no, it's not letting me select anything. Try changing and adding filters if you don't see what you're looking for. Reset. Okay. Alex Wilbur was the backup reviewer. I removed that user, and I will try to click Lane. What? It's not letting me select that. Tell me why. Okay. So reset. It comes again. Okay. You know what? I have to create that again quickly. So this time, because I've explained everything, so I will create another access review because that is very interesting to see the access review. You must see how a reviewer see that. So I'm just going to be very quick now. Teams and groups, and select teams plus groups, and select groups. And this time I'm going for okay, the group. I'll go for another group as well, sales and marketing. Group, okay, and select, but I want the reviewer. So yeah, all users will be checked in this group that they should be still part of this group after 6 months or not, or 1 year or not. Reviewers, that's where I need to go for specific user, and I will select Lynn. Oh, what is this? Reviewers, yeah. Okay, now let's select that. 3 days review recurrence would be everyone one time, but let me just put one time, because if I put 6 months, maybe the first email did not come, although it's supposed to come. For this new user, it might. So one time, and this means today. So, and auto apply results to resource. No, and if reviewers don't respond, so I will be responding now. Then no change. At the end of the review, send notification to. Yes, I will send notification to the administrator that the director reviewed it or not, right? And no sign in for 30. This is just extra information that reviewer will get about the users that he or she is deciding to approve or not, right? So that's it. I'll just review plus create quickly. And this is access review for marketing and sales group, right? And put something here as well and create. I just want that email to reach the other users, so I could show you how reviewer sees that and how to review. I hope there are people in this group to review. So I'm going to go to the other side and I'll log into Lynn's mailbox. Skip setup. Stay signed in, no. So it's a one-time review, but the email of the review is not yet here for the second user. So it should come first time at least. Okay, so I'll keep this user signed in and we'll keep check on that user, but the email for access review should be coming. And Lynn Robbins has, okay, this is just administrator alerts for that you have given access to Lynn Robbins. When I give this access to any user, all other 4 administrators get the email. So they automatically get the email that one of the global admins gave access to someone. So all other 4 admins or whoever else is a global admin will automatically know that another admin did this, right? So that's a good check and balance as well. Anyway, so that access review email still did not arrive yet. Is Lynn part of that group to review? Jimin says, access to marketing. Yeah, I made Lynn a reviewer now. Reviewer is, oh no, that's not which group am I? Access to marketing. Whoa, where's the access group? Yeah, there it is. Access to marketing and sales. Not started. Okay. Why? Going there, reviewer has been now. Yeah. But when it starts, yeah, then it will, that applies also. Okay, everything seems to be, review did not start. It is one time, and I put, what time will she have be part of group to review? No. She's a reviewer, so she is supposed to be just getting the access to the group. Huh. Okay, I'll go back here and there's something still fishy, and fishy is something that we should not have. Results. Oh, there you go. There you go. What I wanted to show you, I mean, this comes to her in the email, and she clicks the link, and then links takes us to a screen that shows like this. That's the main screen I wanted you to see. That when the review is that the other user, I think it is. Oh, there you go. Yep, finally. So the reviewer gets the email maybe after 6 months, maybe every 6 months, maybe every 3 months, whatever time you put. So this is how the reviewer gets the email. Reviewer is supposed to not ignore that. Some of my companies directors have ignored that. And so start review, if I click the start review as a reviewer, then 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 she has to log in first. I should put stay logged in longer. Skip setup for now for MFA, which is a very bad idea. And stay signed in, yes. Now this is what I wanted to show you, that inactive user, there's a report here as well that this user has been inactive, user has been inactive, inactive. If it's more than 30 days, then it shows like that, right? And there are some users who we were doing some activity on, so they were not considered inactive. These users we never logged in our test environment, so that's why they are showing inactive. So this is how the report will come to you. I'll just take a screenshot of that just to put it as a okay. So it looks like this, and we just simply do. So suppose this is this is actually that. So select that. The reason is so why is part of this group. So denied. This reviewed by select that. And then approve, there's a reason. And that's why directors somebody else who are like, seriously, I can do that for all the users. Are you kidding me? All good. So you can just put the reason. And then you can go for all the users. You can go for 3 users in a row, approve, and all good. Or you can give any other reason. So then you can select multiple users and keep doing that. Wow, that's all users. Anyway, so this is access review and it's pretty good. And approval. So this whole thing is obviously audited, and you know the report goes to the global admins as well. Okay. Oh, okay. I can't hear your voice loud. Now good. Okay, cool. So yes, guys, this is access review. So we have gone through two, governance, identity governance, and inside the identity governance, we've gone through two features, which are the access review and privilege identity. But within PIM, there are more features. But this is one of the main. That is, in fact, this is the main feature in privilege identity management, that you give access to any user for a specific time and not permanently. And then you review the access of that user for that privilege or for that group uh, from time to time. And now for the group, we have created access reviews, right? But when it comes to privileged identity, then there is review access here as well, right? So then review access can be configured for that. Hey, this guy has application administrator privilege for a long time. This guy really needs it now, or shall we remove that privilege from that user, right? So that's how governance and identity governance really works in an amazing way. So if I give this, so I click this privilege identity management, and then there is manage access. Then there is activate just in time. So reduce the potential for lateral movement in the event of account compromise by eliminating persistent access. So again, just in time is that thing that I was showing you, where you have to request 8 hours. The user goes to the other side, and the user goes to the email, clicks the link, goes to the page, and clicks the activate button and then chooses the hours, right? So that is actually just in time. Uh, so persistent access, eliminating persistent access to privileged roles and resources. Enforce just-in-time access to critical roles with PIM. So if I click activate here, well, yeah, it is already there for application administrator, and we can activate this now. What does that mean? So I went to privileged access identity management, right? I went to application. Now, whoever in future will get the application administrator role will be given this amount of time, what you decide now here. So suppose you say from now on, anyone who is given this application administrator role and he or she goes to the to his or her email, uh, and then opens that link and then tries to activate the role. So he or she will only see this 3 hours, not 8 hours. So he or she will be able to choose from 3 hours. So now you can decide it for all future implementation of application administrator role to anyone, that what kind of hours they should be seeing. Suppose you don't want 8 hours to be seen at all. So you can change it to anything. And then you can give a reason here as well that, hey, I'm putting this because of security, because of company compliance policy. And yeah, so you can put something for each role. So for every role, oh, this role user can access for 5 hours or 4 hours. And that role you can access for 7 hours. That role, there are like above 50 or 60 roles there, right? You can go for most critical roles that give highest privileges, and you can even lessen the hours. And then the user is working with application administrator. After 4 hours, it expires. But the user wants to keep on working. So it is kind of disruptive. Yes, the user now has to go to the email, click that link again, activate it for 4 more hours. Maybe the user's uh, continuous work is requiring the user to work for 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours. So 2 times the user has to come and activate it manually and give a reason every time. So it's kind of disruptive, but that's what Microsoft says, that no one should have permanently. Maybe you can give it longer hours. You can change that because seeing that the user is continuously working on it and it's disruptive, you can change it as well. But after 8 hours, still it gets expired, right? So that's just in time, and that's pretty cool feature as well, right? And then discover and monitor. So manage access just in time, activate just in time, and then discover and monitor. So it is common for access to critical resources to go undetected. Ensure you know who has access to what and receive notifications when new assignments are granted. So anyway, this is discover. So you can just check that. Oh, so Lynn has application administrator. Adele. Adele also has a compliance administrator. No, she is just application administrator. Who gave her compliance administrator, right? So you can just discover that who has what kind of roles and for how long they have those roles, right? And then you have the ability to remove that role. I can just say that I may have known that, hey, recently she was told that she will no longer have compliance administrator role. Why is this role still there? Okay, I'll just remove right away. So you just have to keep on visiting this discover and monitor area and check that who's supposed to have the role still. And somehow when you got the email that please remove this role from her or him, but you didn't get the time, you forgot. So if you are coming here, you should still remove people, right? So that is one thing. And Raza says break because we are reaching the breaking point. I guess that's why. Uh, but privilege access identity management is what I wanted to show you from identity governance. That was the most critical one. And then lifecycle workflows. Yeah, so just last one. Then we take a break. So purchase license. And yeah, by the way, Raza, there, if you have Windows 10 or 11, just check here. Where were we checking? Virus. If you check here, put here virus, and then this should come virus and threat. If you click that, so there is actually a defender. Is it in 10 as well, Jimmy? Or is it in 11 only? So there's a built-in antivirus. It's in Windows 10 as well. Oh, okay. So there's a, you can just start the scan. I am scanning here till now. But there's a Microsoft Defender antivirus built into Windows. When did I stop receiving news from about Windows? Okay, I never knew. Okay, so yeah, but lifecycle workflows already tells me that you need to have a to purchase a license, and workflow basically means you're automating some tasks there, right? So create a workflow is here, and with workflow, onboard pre-hire employee. You want something automated to happen to an employee who's a newly hired, onboard new hire employee, joiner, and then there are some automated tasks post onboarding of an employee. What kind of tasks you can do there? Real-time employee change, execute real-time tasks for employee changes. If employee was, being replaced, then what kind of tasks are there? So this is very, very interesting. Whenever it comes to automation, it's very, very, very good, right? So yeah, let's check this out after the break, and then we're gonna go for this workflow if it lets us go ahead, and then we'll try to finish today Azure Active Directory and maybe start Exchange. But okay, let's take a break, and so break class starts 11:44, 11:54, 12-ish. Okay, resuming now. Okay, so excuse me. We were talking about identity governance and privileged identity governance, PIM, and we were talking about, yeah, one more thing you should keep in mind and put it in your summary notes for interviews, that PIM's best friend is JIT, right? PIM has JIT. Wow, nice. Suits, right? So JIT is just in time, and you need to say in the interview, you need to tell anyone in the project that you have to configure just in time. Just in time access is obviously a user is given a privilege for a specific time, and then this privilege expires. Privilege expires. The user then has to go to his email, click the link, go to the page, activate this role again for a specific time with a justification. So that's all you need to remember for the interview. You have to say it in the interview, and make some summary notes of yours, because I'm sending nearly daily all the jobs there for Microsoft 365 and Azure in that group. So you want to apply for those jobs. There are some remote jobs as well. So try to apply for those. But first, fix your resume, put these names there. PIM, I have handled PIM, I have configured JIT, right? So, and then make a summary note for that. What is the definition of PIM and JIT, and what do they exactly do? And repeat those labs at least 3 times to be ready for the interview, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and try to, yeah, we were talking about workflows here within the identity governance. So yeah, don't say that in the interview. Okay, so if I go to lifecycle workflows, so there, workflow is what? Workflow is a term, or the flow basically is a term that you're going to see across Microsoft 365 and Azure. And flow just means that you're automating some tasks. So you're in order to do some tasks, suppose you're going for users, and then you're going for all users, and then you're clicking a user, you're creating a new user, and then there are so many click, 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 click. You have to go here, you have to go here, you have to go here, right? So these are all click, 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 click. But what about that for certain tasks that you can actually automate them? You just, schedule them to run and do all those click, click, clicks for you, and do all those tasks for you on a scheduled time automatically, right? So automating is a big thing in the IT industry. Can, if you know the tools that can automate, then you are huge in demand in the market. Obviously, you need to know first all the ins and outs of the whole technology, like Azure, AWS. Then can you automate? This is a big, big, big thing. So whatever tools that helps you automate, you have to learn those tools. You have to do practice on those tools. I'm trying to create Azure CLI videos for you. So instead of going in the class and then troubleshooting, I'm trying to create videos, and soon they will be out. So then I will be telling you, hey, go through that video, each video, and implement CLI, Azure PowerShell, and go through all the basic commands one by one. So hopefully this week or next week they should be out. Or as I keep uploading videos of PowerShell, just follow up with all those. Okay, anyway, so this is a workflow, a lifecycle workflow. And if I click the create lifecycle workflow, so what is this automating? What is this for, right? So if I click create lifecycle workflow, so they say choose a template. What do you want to do? Oh, is there a scenario where there's a new person who got hired and you want to onboard that person? Onboarding just means that you're telling that, hey, this is our company, and this is our Active Directory, this is the domain name, this is the username you have, this is your laptop, you will sit here in that cubicle, and kitchen is there, washroom is there. So onboarding just means that employee gets to know the company environment, right? So so configure pre-hire tasks for onboarding employees before their first day. And then there's another one, configure new hire task for onboarding employees on their first day. So before the employee comes, do you want to automate something? So if I click select here, and then it comes onboard pre-hire employee, configure pre-hire tasks. Before hiring, what tasks you want to apply. So trigger details defines the trigger conditions used to determine when the workflows runs for your user. So workflow is something you're automating, something that otherwise you would have click, 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 click. So you're avoiding that click, 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 click manual work, and you're trying to put something that automatically happens. Configure the event timing for onboarding and offboarding users within your organization. So configure the event timing for onboarding and offboarding users. So days from event. So define the number of days to offset. Value must be between 0 and 180 days. So this event is onboarding pre-hire, right? So 7 days before the pre-hire, before the actual hiring happens, what do you want to do? So suppose it's 7 days before employee hire date, and then configure scope. So then defines the condition used to determine the user scope for executing a workflow. Scope type, rule based. Rule is you can use the rule builder. So there are some tasks that you can put here that if this user comes, he or she will be added to this department automatically. So add expression, you can use the rule builder. Now, obviously, first you create an environment. Okay, department is equal to marketing. Please add this user to that department. Suppose I go for another expression, and then I want that user to be, hey, what's the, oh, I wanted that user to be added to certain groups as well. But yeah, you can just go for employee ID, fax name, fax number, given name, job title. Okay. So if this user adds to marketing department, the job title should be this. So if there are some, maybe the country, okay, choose equal to Canada. So add the information about that user for the country as Canada, and then you can keep on adding expression, and automatically this will be decided, or this will be added for the user. So suppose the user joins in, enable the account, right? Equal to, oh, account enabled. Yes. Put the value yes myself. Will it take it? I don't know. So review tasks. So when you are doing this onboarding, there's a review task here. Create custom workflows by selecting a built-in template. So we went for a built-in template. Workflow task, you can use predefined. Yeah, we talked about that. So now generate, tap, and send email. So when this task is done, then I'm going to click that now, and it's going to tell us onboarding pre-hired. The tap method must be enabled on the tenant for the workflow to be saved with this task. So generate tap, which is just making sure that you are telling and people, and this is temporary access pass or tap, uh, temporary access pass, right? So generate temporary access pass and send via email to users manager. If those previous tasks had been automatically completed, email the user's manager. Email the user's manager, right? So, and then you can just go for user's manager. Obviously, when you're adding a user in Active Directory, you have to decide who's the manager. So if I go to a user account and go to contact information, right? Manage contact information. So in the manage contact information, you have to tell the manager of the user. You have to mention the manager. Hey, manager's not here. Okay. Then last name, multi-factor, activation, manage groups, edit managers. This is the manager. So this user's manager can be added. In fact, we can add that to the automated task as well, if the manager is supposed to be added there. But whoever's the manager will get the email right away for that user that hey manager, your new hire is actually added. The new hires excuse me, the new hires country has been created, or some information whatever you selected there has been added. Manager will know whatever you added there in the template, right? So we added country, I think we added the city or whatever we added. So activation duration. So this is a temporary access pass for, so this is a pre-hire that, hey, anyone has access to his account for how much hours, and one-time use, you want to use it for one-time access. You need to log into that user's account and continue workflow execution on error. If there's an error, still continue implementing those tasks automatically and enable task. So all this is there. Users added, so I can email customization. In this section, you can customize the text for the email body to make it your own. You can also optionally include selected user attributes by embedding. So this email is going to the manager. You can tell the manager that, okay, we have automatically configured the country of the user, the branch of the user, and whatever else you have configured in this. And the email will go to the manager that, okay, this is the user. So they have given a template for that. And recipient, so manager gets the email, and whoever else you want the email. So maybe HR department person should be also getting the email, right? So that. So I'm gonna close that, and then review plus create. So it's not a lot of stuff that we have configured, but we get the idea that we can pre-configure a lot of stuff here. Then it has no active tap authentication and method policies. That there's an error here. This means that I need to go back to the task, and this needed to be, so it is enabled, yeah. Generate tab and send email. Okay. So I needed to configure something here. The tab method must be enabled. Hey, it is enabled. Um, oh, okay. So I have to increase hours. Save. Are you okay now? I don't think so. So generate what? Did I not enable that? Enabled on the tenant. Oh yeah. It has to be enabled on the tenant level for the workflow. Ah, I just need to enable this. Enable tab. Seriously, what's wrong? Tab temporary access method is on the tenant wide. Yeah, exactly. Jimmy says also. So temporary access, I need to enable on the whole organization. Then it will there. Um, and enable, or it could be specific groups that you want to enable, or for all groups you can. All users can enable. I'll just enable temporary access password tab is a time limited or limited use passcode that can be used by users for bootstrapping new accounts. So suppose you are the desktop support administrator and you are creating this new account for the employee and you want to log in yourself to this account, and we do that all the time. Uh, Obviously, it's a new account and we need to configure something inside as well, right? According to company compliance policies. So then you create and pre-populate some stuff, some settings. Oh, country will be this, branch will be this, phone will be this, maybe the branch phone, right? Uh, so you want that temporary access for that account, then you can enable it, right? So tab is issuable only by administrators and is seen by the system or as strong authentication. It is not usable for self-service password reset. So this access to you for a new hires user account who hasn't been even in the company yet. He hasn't arrived yet. Maybe someone is hired, he or she, and you're creating an account for that person. So you should have some kind of access and pre-populate some of the settings there, right? So that's what it is. Oops. I saved it. Okay, I'll just go the other way. Uh, and the protection, it took me to the identity governance, lifecycle workflows. Oh man, your unsafe edits will be discarded. Dude, I saved it, right? Yeah, it takes time. Fresh. This page is asking you to confirm that you want to leave. Information you have entered may not be saved. Okay, leave. Ouch. Well, I'll just check that. Oh, it disabled. Okay, serious. It's very sensitive. So I'll just open another duplicate for that. Duplicate tab. Just a second. Sorry. Okay, guys. So I'm going to go back to identity governance, lifecycle workflows. Okay, so I have to create that because I went away from that page. Anyway, select details. I'll just go quick because now we know what we're doing. And 7 days before the employee hire, or 6 days, or 1 day after you configure scope again. So department is marketing, suppose, and then we chose also country is Canada. So, but you can put here a huge amount of stuff, right? So it will save you time next time, obviously, when and before the new hire is coming to the company. So this you are doing as an administrator. So put Canada, and then you can put as much. And review task. Now the tab is good. And then there's another add task here. And then there you go. There you go. That's what I was doing. So add task here. So what else you want to do? So obviously that user would want to be added to the respective departments. The user is joining marketing department, right? So if you click the add users to groups and then enable user account and then remove users from selected groups, send welcome email. Okay. Add user to selected teams. Yes. You have to add user to teams as well. Remove user from selected teams, run a custom task extension, send onboarding reminder email. Yes, suppose you want to send some links there that hey, you need to go there and do this mandatory course. Request user access package assignment. So remember access package we created there. So access package lets you connect, let the user request to connect to applications for a specific amount of time, and the approvers have to approve that. So suppose you want to assign that user an access package. But these are all the tasks. If I click add, then you have to add the user to the, then you have to mention the groups here, add users to the groups, add user to selected groups, and then select the group here. And remember that this user is joining marketing, suppose. So sales and marketing, suppose these are the two groups that this user should be automatically joined to. Continue workflow execution on error. Okay, no. If there's an error, we should stop execution and we should troubleshoot that. We can choose the other one as well. Add user to the selected teams. Well, we don't have any teams, but I'll click that, select teams here. Okay, so it did create some teams there, and suppose it's sales and marketing team that the user should be automatically added to. So now these tasks will save you a lot of time because these tasks will be happening automatically. Email to the manager will be going that your user that you're about to hire has been added to these areas, these teams and these groups already, right? So that's pretty cool. And you can add a long list here. And suppose there are the market, it's a big company and there are 20 or maybe 30 groups only connected to marketing department. So adding to each group one by one is a pain in the neck. So why don't you just create a template here, workflow template, and add all 30 groups of marketing department, and that user will be automatically added to those 30 groups. So that's pretty amazing, right? And review plus create, you have more flexibility here in this workflow. And then enable schedule. So, okay, that we can do later as well. But right now, I didn't let me click. And then creating a workflow. So onboard pre-hired employee, this workflow has been created. Now when you select, it says run on demand. And then you can enable a schedule as well that run it on that schedule. So suppose it's run on demand. Now you need to, obviously you must have created, suppose user, new user has joined, right? So user John has joined. It's always John, right? Okay. User Justin has joined. Justin as an employee, right? So you have to first create that user by going to all users and create a new user, right? When that user is created, you have to come here and select that user because the actual person hasn't arrived yet. But his or her user account has to be created first and has to be populated with all the settings. So when the employee actually arrives on the day of hiring, the first day in the company, so his or her user account would be already ready for him or her to use, right? So suppose you created a new user called Nestor. So that's new user has been added there. And the workflow task, we already defined that Nestor will be added to you know, investor's country will be Canada, and investor's department will be marketing, and the group he will join is marketing and sales and marketing group, and teams he will join is sales and marketing team. So this user has to be created manually by you, or maybe you have a script for that too. You create the user, put that user here, and then run the workflow on that user. So whatever you decided there, wherever you put there, will be uh, you know added to that user. So total process one user. Really, Nestor. So I need to go to Nestor and check his profile, his department and country, and what groups he was added. So I need to check that. Did the workflow worked or not, right? So I'll go to Nestor, and Nestor is this, and which groups? Yeah, good. He was, oops. Okay, you know what? This user was already created. Uh, okay, seriously. Let me just create a new user because that user was already pre-populated with many settings. So there's a user called Justin and Bieber and J Bieber, J Bieber, and that's it. So require user to log in. I just need to create a new user that is not populated at all, and I'll assign one E5 license to that user. Next, that's it. No roles, nothing in the profile, empty user, right? Finish and close. And then I will go to that compliance workflow, and I'll go to okay, yeah, I created user, so there was an email coming that you created a user. I'll go to lifecycle workflows where workflows are there, and then I'll go to select this run on demand. I want to run this automation on that new user that I just created now, right? The employee did not arrive, it's pre-hire, right? So after 1 week, maybe the employee is about to come. So just Justin Bieber, okay. Maybe he purchased that our company because it's so rich. So and then run workflow. Okay, so 5 tasks were done. Oh, seriously? One total process one failed, one user failed. Seriously? Oh, yeah, that is Nestor. I mean, what happened to Justin? Yeah, Justin Bieber. Okay, there you go. So if I go to Justin Bieber user now, after refreshing this page, the automated tasks should have run on that user, right? So there's Justin Bieber here, and it's a totally new account. I did not populate anything. Um, First of all, the group doesn't show anything actually, but I'll go to manage contact information and Justin Bieber. Oh, nothing got populated actually. So yeah, there was Canada was supposed to be there, and so the group manage groups. I think the task failed. That's why. And why task failed, we have to check that. So yeah, it didn't work on automation did not work. So yeah, when we're doing that real fast, so we have to check what's going on and what didn't work on that user. Ah, there you go. Employee hired attribute is missing. Generate tab and send email. So all the tasks were canceled because the tab was not configured because employee hired date attribute is missing. Ooh. So okay, there's an error, and you can just go for this particular workflow and just simply check out if we can t-shoot it in time. Uh, hire date, hire date, hire date, hire date. View and edit details in tab, right? So it was scope. Yeah, these are some of the rules that I created, but I need to check the tab, or there's a tab, generate tab. So there's some kind of hire date that we need to put there. CC recipients. Since it checked before 7 days from hire date, that's why David says one-time use. Okay, I'll go for one-time use. One thing, and second thing is activation duration 1 hour. Temporary access password for the user to use for sign-in based on the combination of 5 hours, but no, that's not it. User selected and hours, days, doesn't look like reorder. You know what? I'll remove that. How about that? I don't want the user to be using this. To send email to the manager, maybe I don't want any customization. So employee hire date on user settings. On user settings, you know, I could just remove that as well, but why don't we go to the user settings? In the user settings, there's no hire date there. Really? There is. We can put a hire date there. Or user settings in the flow. You know what? We can just for now. User to group, enable user account. User settings where on this page, or in this here, user settings. Where you see that? Oh, okay. I never saw hire date before here. Serious? Manage contact information. Did you ever see a hire date here? No way. Well, it could be. I
Yeah, if you
never
just
saw
look
that.
at new user, you'll see an added option.
Can't be here, man.
Yeah, can you hear me?
It has to be there. I mean, this is general settings. No, can't be here. Hire date. Hey, you know what? Just to no, I cannot hear you. Oh, come on. Oh, it's my sound. But my sound is okay. Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me?
Okay. Create a new user one more time. Oh, okay. At that time. Hire date. Okay, let's add a user. This time. Who? Okay, Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Um, D. Trump. One more license gone. Next. Profile info. Not from here, from Entra. Oh, okay. So hire date is always there. Okay, I'll go to Entra users, all users, new user, create new user, right? From here, Jimmy? Yes. Okay. And we get okay. D Trump. Display name and properties. Okay. Oh yeah, all good properties. D Trump. Wow, hire date. Hmm. It's been long since I have gone through this. My junior admin does that. Okay. Yeah. So, oh yeah, this could happen. Pardon? Okay. Usage consent right for minor is Business, setting, manager, employee hire date. There it is. Enjoy version tab. Ah, wow. Okay, thanks. This is here. Okay, after 7 days, right? So it's 10, July 10. 10 July is okay. Let me just go for 70. That good, right? Assignment, plus create. It checked the template 7 days before, so it needs the hire date. Oh yeah, that's fine. Thanks for. Hey, you use that already? Because I 7 days before. So I should be putting actually the days before or the hire date. I should be putting. Hire date is again 17, right? So what should I be putting? 7 days. Now I'm like I should have seen this feature. I just go inside features and then configure it. Normally they're straightforward unless they have some kind of before. Yep, you're right. Okay. Anyway, I'll just put that date here, June, July. I'll just move 17. Next assignment. Add a unit, add group, add rule. Wow, we're not using all this in my not doing all this. Okay. Create, but I didn't know that the hire date was here because I was always looking for Azure Active Directory here. So thanks for letting me know. And then I'll just run that again. Hopefully it is good. So I will go for workflow, run on demand, and select users. Yeah, I create every time. So noticed all the. Okay, good man, good, good. Okay, so I created who? Justin Bieber. Okay, come on, come on, come on, come on. Justin. And I did it for Justin or Donald Trump. I did it for Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, yeah.
Donald. Did I create the acquisition? Donald. Oh, it's still not appearing. Okay. It's too early, I guess. Let me check. D Trump. Okay, it's there. Yeah, and again, do anything. Alright, guys, it's taking time, but things need to be proven that they work, right? So that's why. Okay, D Trump, please be here now. Yeah, there you go. Okay, D Trump, select, run workflow. Belize about it. Belize. Two fails. Yay! Seriously. Okay. Now what? I don't really want to remove that tab. There tab, employee hire data abuse is missing. Okay, so it
No,
made me
but
have to
it's
sign
for
in
Justin
soon.
Bieber.
That's why,
Let's
but just to prove some things added, just let me get rid of this tool here. I don't need it for now. Disable. Enabled, no. Okay, so save. Let me just run it without it. And we can fix all those other things. So don't check tab, no. The rest, yeah, please check, right? So I put it back here like this, but I'm doing it too fast. That's why it's saying, yeah, enable schedule. So now I'm just gonna run one more time because it's been users, D Trump. Well, now I can add Justin Bieber as well, but okay, D Trump. But tab requirement should not be met. Should not be 3 users. Okay, now what? Manager attributions. Okay. So this is how it's gonna be, right? That can be easily tackled. D Trump and manager attribute. should be added first for the user. If we are adding here, then yeah, manager needs to be informed. So that's why. So add manager, and who is the manager here? Adele is the manager. Come on, move it. Just give me a break and get me the results faster, the correct results that I'm looking for, right? So you have to be, uh, stubborn, but just to show at least it works for something, and then you can troubleshoot all the time, right? So this is something that you have to work on and make it configure it properly once. Okay, now what? So it says manager. Oh, so yeah, it's too soon. So I'm just completed one, and this is the only one left. The others are completed. Okay, good. Send onboarding reminder email. Manager attribute is missing or invalid. Maybe that manager's email is not working, but the rest of the things are completed. So what is completed? Let me just check that automated task. Enable user count, add users to group. Let me check that. Was the user added to group? I just wanted to show that automation works a little. Manage groups, yay! Yes. So it does work, but you have to remove all the small errors. But imagine there are 20 or 30 areas that you were clicking and adding, click, 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 add. But then you configured everything, you removed all the mistakes from there, you removed all the errors from there. So this automation task could be saving you just one click. Create the user, don't populate anything at that time, and then just run this flow on that user, and there you go, magic. Everything is configured. So I just configured 2 or 3 things, right? You can fill out that workflow with so much that it will save you 1 hour, 2 hours, right? So that's what I wanted to show. But yeah, there will be errors here and there, so just try to remove those. But you get the idea that the workflow is amazing, time save and earn, earn, earn. All right, time saver. Okay, guys. Well, this is workflow, and definitely I'll be telling this. This was not really mature in previous courses. This feature was not really perfected by that time, but now they have perfected it, workflow schedule, email settings. So this is amazing, right? So our company and your company, wherever you are, whichever company you will be going to, they will all love those people who introduce what? Who introduce automation. So wherever you see the workflow or anything flow, try to practice it. Try to redo that again and again and master it, right? But you get the idea that how workflow works. And I could save 1 or 2 hours of setting up everything or half an hour of setting up everything just by creating this workflow. And company would love those guys who are automating their tasks, right? So this is something that's amazing, and this is just one workflow, right? There are so many templates there for the workflow. If you go for create workflow, and they will be adding so many more templates. This is just the start. So these are some of the templates there. Offboarding an employee, post offboarding an employee. So many tasks are there. Real time employee termination. Ouch. Okay, that hurts. But anyway, pre offboarding of an employee. The employee is about to offboard, or he's about to leave, or he or she is about to leave, right? And the real time changes that you want. You can run the workflow. Oh, you want this, and that change. So this is so amazing. And yes, this should be introduced in pretty much every organization. O and K. Let's go ahead and then after identity governance is external identities. So in the external identities, okay, lifecycle workflow. Uh, this is pretty amazing, guys. This means, when you were talking and Raza was talking, I was not able to hear. So this is something wrong with my speakers. I should have restarted, but I did restart the system. Okay. Anyway, so here, um, yeah, this is something that I wanted to put. So lifecycle workflow settings, and yeah. Let's go for external identities and overview. So external identities is set of capabilities that enables organizations to secure and manage my external user. Did I say my? Any external user, including customers and partners beyond your organizational boundaries. So it's set of capabilities that enable organization to secure and manage any external users who are connecting to you outside of your organization, from outside, building on the B2B or business to business collaboration capabilities in Azure Active Directory. External identities. What is external identities anyway? External, outside username passwords, outside people who are connecting to you, right? So external identities supports additional ways to interact and connect with users outside of your organization. So how would the outside users connect to your organization? Now we kind of done that in SSO when we were connecting other companies' users, or we were connecting our users to other companies, right? Or other companies were able to connect to us. We were able to connect with our username to other company resources. So we went for Dropbox, and then you guys, some of you did the um, Salesforce as well. Jamin did. Then actually, Fozia, she sent me the day before yesterday. She emailed me the step-by-step process of adding Salesforce, connecting SSO to Salesforce from Microsoft 365, and then signing in from the user. So people are really working hard here, and make your screenshots there. It will only help you in future as well, right? So anyway, this is supports additional ways to interact and connect with users outside of your organization. So there are many ways to do that. There's another company who wants to connect to your company, and that company's users want to connect to your company and resources, or your company users want to connect to other companies' resources. So basically, the scenario always is like that. That obviously you would have your cloud and some other company's cloud, and your M365 and other company cloud, right? Other company. Okay, so and suppose you have the users, and always just uh, uh, have this map in mind: users, resources. So one side would be offering resources, and other side would be the users who will be using the resources, right? So either your users are going there to see the resources here, or you are also offering some kind of services or resources that the users of this company wants to access, right? So both sides could be having users, and both sides could be offering resources, or only one side. So in our case, when we were doing SSO, so Dropbox was offering resources to who? To our users. Salesforce, if you had done the SSO for that, so Salesforce was offering resources, um, and users were on our side. So it's always either users on one side and resources on the other side, or both sides, right? So it says here external identity. So set up how you want to collaborate. Configure how external users can access your resources, how these users get invited, and any restrictions you want to set. So you will invite external users. Hey, external users, please, from this other company, why don't you come to connect securely to our company and then use our resources? So this could be the scenario as well, right? So we have worked on the scenario in SSO that our users were connecting to other companies, but how do you securely connect or let users from other company connect to your resources. This is also, if I say in other words, we did the lab for SSO where we accessed others' resources. Now this time they are asking access other resources, other resources. But this time they're saying that, hey, other users, they want to, if they want to connect to us, then what? So how do you securely let them connect to you, right? And that's the SSO on the other side now. Set up external collaboration settings, and there's set up identity providers. So first of all, if I go to set up external collaboration settings here and external collaboration settings. So this is guest users who are, now we have gone through this setting in Active Directory as well, that obviously you would go, now there are users outside, either they are company users or they are one, the, one company has offered John and Sandy and Bob as contractors. Hey, our contractors will be connecting to your company and you can let them securely access. And they will help you in your project and you can pay us this many million dollars, thousands of dollars. So how do you send them? You simply send a guest invite, right? So send guest. So there's one thing, guest invite. And we know how to do that. We have done that before, right? So just to have a quick recap, if I go to add users, add a user here. Oh no, not that. So you have to go for, I'll go the other way from admin center and then users, all users and new user, and there's invite external user. So if I go to external user here, then yeah, you can just send that invite, but the email is either that contractor's email or that contractor's company email. You just put there, the invitation goes there, they click the link, and then they connect to your organization as a guest user. And remember that the guest user always has limited access unless you want to create a, you know, the actual user which has all the access you can give. Guest user by default has limited access to your resources. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that if I go to that, yeah, so send guest invite, right? So if I go back here and check this out, so I am here in external identities, external overview, and then I click this, and that took us to this external permission, right? So if I click this, it's external permission. So it says that, hey, you want to invite other users to your environment? Go ahead and just invite them as guest users. But what about this SSO? Like, do you want to actually go through the process of SSO to let other companies, maybe thousands of users, use some of the resources that you offer? So this is the same SSO configuration configurations that we did from our M365 to other company. The steps are pretty much the same, but each company, Microsoft has created, you know, separate YAML files or other files, but overall, how we configured SSO from M365 to other company is exactly the same way. It's the overall way is same, but per company, Salesforce has a bit different way. Dropbox has a bit different. Overall structure is still the same. You have to get tenant ID, you have to get application ID, and put it, get some information and give it to M65, and get some M65 information and give it to other company, right? So the way you configured Dropbox and Salesforce, this is the same way you will configure. But if you want other users to be connecting to you, then obviously they will be a little different process than what you did before, but overall procedure is still the same. So that's why I had to do one lab of SSO at least. So you would have an idea, oh, that's what's involved in SSO. Okay, so try to do it once successfully, but then go for other labs, other companies. There are thousands of companies there, so at least 2 or 3 companies. So some of you have done 2 companies, which is very, very good. Okay, so if I go back here, get started with external identities. We were talking about an overview. So set up how that's one scenario. You want to invite other users, just send them a guest invite. What about set up identity providers? Now you want to connect to Facebook. So Facebook business, suppose some company has a Facebook business and they have thousands of users there, and those thousands of users wants to connect to your Active Directory. Suppose there's a company with Google G Suite and they have hundreds of users there. Then how to connect Google to your Microsoft 365. So if I go to view all identity providers, so there is some common scenarios Microsoft has already added there. So plus Google, plus Facebook, News SAML or WS Federation identity provider or IDP. So this is for on-premises, for local branches that you want to connect. But this is obviously the cloud. And we have gone through some, if I click the Google Plus here, right? Remember that we had to give client ID and secret ID for Microsoft 365 to Google. And then we had to go through the test account of Salesforce, those who did Salesforce, or test account of Dropbox in the class that we did. So you must configure credentials at Google APIs first to get the client ID and client secret. Obviously, you have to get, so this is the whole document at Google as an identity provider for business to business guest users. So the difference here is instead of inviting 1 or 2 guest users, you are going for the whole. The other company may have purchased G Suite, Google G Suite. G Suite is like Microsoft 365, but cheaper, a bit cheaper, and they also have their own word processor, Excel sheet, and PowerPoint like applications. And then they also have SharePoint kind of thing, and you can create sites there. You can add domains there as well, right? So all that you can do. So the whole company, when you want to connect, again, this is a document for that. And some of the steps would be familiar that we have gone through the authentication purpose, the SSO lab. So Google guest users can also use application and information, same steps there. And so some of the things that they have removed and what to expect, how to sign in, and so this is all again. Again, this would be the third company. Suppose you have already gone through Dropbox SSO, you have gone through Salesforce SSO. So this would be Google, your SSOing with Google. I had to purchase an $18 G Suite account just to get access to the SSO feature. That's why then I did not continue because I wanted you to go through some free experience. So thank God Dropbox and Salesforce offered that. Otherwise, pretty much this is the same lab. My suggestion, go for it. I showed you some free ones. If you can just try to discover if it's kind of free. Oh, sorry. Jim says can't hear your voice louder. Oh, what's wrong with something wrong with my side, I guess. Okay, so guys, this is something that if you do, that would be very good experience. There's Google Federation, there's Facebook Federation as well. I will try to again go through this. I'm not promising. There's so much going on that I had to stop with certain things. Okay, Jamin says I would try to do. Hey man, you don't share documents, man. Come on. I know it's your hard work, but sharing is always good. But it's up to you. Yeah, optional. Okay, so here, but Fauzi, another student, she creates all screenshots, explains everything, and then shares. And in fact, I'll ask for permission and then share with all of you as well, right? So sharing is okay. Azure, I will share, but not getting enough time. Oh yeah, I understand that. Yeah, it is overwhelming. Yes. So this is something that is pretty much similar experience, but obviously Dropbox is a different company, so some few steps are different. Salesforce is a different company, so few steps are different. So Google is a different company. Few steps will be different. They are not actually. Oh yeah, there you go. Step one, configure Google Developer Project, just like we had gone for Microsoft Developer, console developer, blah blah blah. Yeah, they've given all the steps. Configure Google Federation in Azure AD, and then give client ID and client secret. Okay, it's not very long actually. Wow. I hope the developer edition is free, I guess. Okay. So this is, you know, B2B external identities task. I'm just putting it in. I putting in WhatsApp. Follow this lab to act. Go to Microsoft 365. So guys, when you go through it, you do troubleshooting, and this will be very, very, very beneficial to your career. And the steps are there. You have the full video as well. First, successfully do Dropbox. It must be successful, and then you can also go for Salesforce yourself. But this Google Lab with steps are there. You should do that too. But I know that technically how to integrate SSO. Thanks to give us chance. Yeah, you're welcome, and it's all your effort. Actually, uh, we teachers are just giving, guiding, but definitely it's students' effort. It's 80%, 90% is students' effort. So the more effort you give, the better you get. SSO is one thing that you must do for minimum 3 companies. This is the third one actually. Google. So do perform this as well. It's really, really important. I mean, the more SSO you do, the better, right? And put it in your resume right away. Add it. Okay. So guys, now we did that. That's why I did one lab, because pretty much this is the same procedure again, and the step-by-step is also there with Microsoft. So one time I had to show what is SSO, and we discussed this. So that video is very important. Follow that video again and again and get some hints. But if you're a troubleshooter, you know how to search errors, then yeah, you will be able to configure anything you want, right? Just hard work is required. All right, guys. So now this is, Facebook, same thing, client ID, client secret, and then there is a document for Facebook as well. That you Facebook business, right? And they tell you add a self-service sign up user flow to an app, but they also show you how to connect to M365, the Facebook account. Select layout that view, blah blah blah. Yeah. So sky is the limit, guys. So you can also connect to Facebook with this. Also, so I'll just put that there. Also, SSO for M365 and Facebook. So there's a document for that too. Okay, so but here overall, it's the same thing. Enterprise external applications that you can connect to M365. If I go to overview again, then there is self-service sign up. With a self-service sign up user flow, you can create a sign up experience for external users who want to access your apps. So self-service is like you go to, new account in Gmail, right? So this is your self-service sign up. Create a new Gmail account, right? So it's kind of self-service that you can just, well, did I not say create a new Gmail? Wow, it still takes me to the search. Like seriously. So Edge really hates Gmail so much. Custom professional email get started. Yeah. So you can create a new Gmail, but it's you just fill out the form and then the account gets created, right? But do you want to create that for your own company that somebody maybe you're offering some service that is just available for all the maybe you have thousand, maybe it's an insurance company and the users have to create the account on your website. So you can just go for and offer a self-service sign up for that. So configure user flows. Flow just means you're automating something, right? And self-service sign up for guest users has not been enabled. Learn how to enable self-service sign up for guest users. Uh, I mean, first of all, do you even want to use it? That users from outside could automatically create an account in your M365. So you better have a good reason for that. Like you're offering some services, business services. Maybe you're an insurance company and there are thousands of people who are connected to your and they've purchased insurance from you. So then yes, but you would have a proper website for that where you can enable self-service sign up and they can create their guest account themselves, right? If I click that, so enable self-service sign up for the tenant before you can add a self-service sign up user flow to your applications. So suppose you have offered some application. Suppose it's a Dropbox. No, Dropbox is not yours. Suppose you have created some application, developers have created and added to Azure, and you want any guest to be creating an account to test the application or to get actual services. So obviously you would then only open that. Otherwise, it's not a very good idea to let outsiders just keep on creating accounts on your site. Hackers would be, I think, one of the first uninvited guests that you will be getting. But obviously, you would be putting all this, all the precautions there, and otherwise it's not a very good idea to enable that. So but you have to enable that here, enable guest server self-service sign up via user flows, and it will automatically, it will give you that automated form like setting, and users can create their accounts in your application if you're offering any application like that. Otherwise, whoa, I would stay away unless obviously you have to do it. So Azure portal, go there, da 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 da. So once you enable that, then this new user service flow comes, and then they have given you, you have to mention a domain name, and then given name, surname, city, country, region, display name, a typical form that you fill out to create an account in Gmail, to create an account in Facebook. Okay, so uh, sorry guys, just okay. So this is an account that you can create from outside, but no need at least for my company. I would just say that. But it's a good feature as well. Good to know that you can just create a form and attach it to your application, right? Okay, so and then there's invite external users to collaborate. This is pretty simple. Invite external users to collaborate with learn more. So invite guest users, we have done this lab already, right? How to invite guest users and the user experience on the other side, we've seen that too. Protect your applications and brand. Yes, we have done that too. Set up a conditional access policy for your application. We have gone through that in detail, right? And we have in fact tested it as well. That you can block access. We were talking about data residency. In fact, that was a conditional access policy that you can try to do, that anyone inside Canada should be able to connect to your M365, but anyone outside of Canada cannot connect to your 365, right? So that is there, and we have done that. Managed provisioning and access. Identity governance provides all the capabilities you need to manage external users in your organization. So we have gone through identity governance. Main things are access package, access review, PIM, which is privileged identity management, and within PIM, JIT, just in time. So you have to be, you have to put this in your resume. Identity governance, especially IAM, identity and access management. IAM. This is a very popular term in the interviews, in the resumes, in job announcements that they give, right? That group where I put all the jobs there nearly daily. So you would see that terminology there, IAM, identity and access management. So you have to control access of people, and also who has what credentials and how secure are the credentials. So identity governance provides all the capabilities you need to manage external users. Yeah, we've gone through that, right? So this provides a quick way to onboard and offboard users with entitlement management, along with user access reviews, as we just talked about now. So setup access review. So this is all about external identities, but they do give you, uh, that these are the areas that you have to look and carefully configure, right? So then, yeah, obviously, if you have configured those features, then there are extra steps or configurations for those features that you've configured here. But overall, we get to know that what features are here for what purpose. If I go ahead, all identity, yeah, we've talked about that. User flows, if you want to create that user flows, then, but you have to, again, you have to be careful. Yeah, we talked about that. Custom authentication extensions. Custom authentication extensions can be used by applications to customize authentication experiences and integrate external systems using web APIs. APIs are application programming interface. We have discussed that before. I've given you some videos as well. But the thing is that some small code or application or tool that lets a set of users connect, or one application connect to a system or a cloud environment. So the thing is that this goes to developer side more when they are developing applications and they want to configure the authentication system properly, right? So if we go back here, yeah, so custom authentication extensions, again, how do you want the authentication to work? MFA plus, username, password, plus maybe some extra fob there as well. You want to add more types there, modern authentication you want to add, or still the classic authentication. Obviously, you would want to avoid that. And also cross-tenant access settings. So that is a bit more, advanced, that modifying default settings impact all collaboration with other Azure AD organizations. So suppose have another company that also has M365, Microsoft 365, and Azure tenant. So when you want to connect to that company, click here to learn how to identify your existing inbound and outbound collaborations. default settings apply to all. So we have, talked about connecting to different companies. There is something that is a bit more developer side, but and I've mentioned that before as well. So business to business is again external users from another M365. Suppose there's another company that has M365, the same as our setup, right? So how would you invite users from that company? You would send guest invite. That's it. Ah, okay. So thing is that it's pretty easy and straightforward. When it comes to B2B or B2C, there's I think one more thing that I've already mentioned here to you, that you can create another B2C tenant. If I go to overview in Azure Active Directory and there's a managed tenants here, and we had created two tenants here, dev tenant here, right? And whatever happens here does not go here. Whatever happens here does not synchronize here, right? There are two different areas, but within the tenant, you can create business to client connectivity as well. I wanted to show, and I may have shown that, or may have tried to show you before as well. When I create a new tenant, which type of users will you manage in this tenant? Let me just first explain the diagram. What I'm trying to really say here. If you have created within your actor, so you have Active Directory here, you have tenant, the prod tenant, production tenant, right? And then you create another tenant here, which is dev tenant, development tenant, and you're doing whatever you want and does not affect the other tenant. And then there's another tenant called B2C. Uh, like you can name it something, B2C, business to customer. First of all, it means, right? And it is um, application, uh, application um, works. Suppose there's an application called application works, and it's a B2C tenant. So what is a B2C tenant? I may have mentioned that before, but the B2C tenant is where suppose there's a user outside and user is called J, and that user, and there are many thousands, hundreds or thousands of users, right? And they have their Gmail email, right? And their Hotmail and Yahoo Mail. So that user needs to connect to your application. So you have some application here hosted in your Active Directory, and that application offers a lot of services that thousands of users want to connect to. So you create a B2C tenant, and B2C tenant does what? Offers B2C tenant, B2C tenant offers authentication to users having their own private emails, right? Uh, to the company application. So authentication to company application, but you don't want to create, suppose there are thousands of users who want to connect to your application, and that is hosted on Azure. Now, one way is you go to prod, start creating thousands of accounts and thousands of accounts, or maybe 50,000 accounts. They're all users. Or you can just tell them, hey, there's a self sign up form. Please fill out that form, and automatically your whatever Gmail, Hotmail, or email and you and your first name, last name, and country information, just basic form. Fill out the basic form, and your user will be created here in B2C tenant, business to customer tenant, and then that username password that you have that you've created will be added to the application that we are offering. And then you just need to use your Gmail or Yahoo to log into our Azure Active Directory application. So overall concept is that whenever you see B2B or B2C, B2C is users just create their own uh, application. You put a front end site there, they go to the site and there's a great user there, they create a user, and that user is added to B2C tenant. So it looks like an Azure Active Directory. I mean, like it not look like it is an Active Directory, but it is a B2C Active Directory. B2C Active Directory means users fill out their form and their username password is added to their Active Directory, and that Active Directory user accounts have access, has been given access to some application automatically, right? So the only benefit here is you don't have to create those thousands and thousands of user accounts. You just create a B2C tenant, put a form there, users create their users, that users get added here, and the users get to use the application. And whatever you do in the B2C tenant does not mess up with dev tenant and does not mess up with prod tenant. Nothing gets synchronized on the other tenants. It's just a simple B2C separate tenant, right? So yeah, this is now I am looking for a lab for that because my company has 4 B2C tenants, and thousands of users connect to the services that my company offers. It's actually government rules are implemented for condominiums, right? So um, this we have created this B2C tenant, and there are thousands of users who are condo owners. They connect. So I really wanted to check if there is not a lot of development work involved and some sample application is there. So I could show you that how there's a lot of development work still is needed, but any simple lab that could show you that how to create a B2C tenant. I did search that on YouTube, and there were so many options there. The least development related option where you don't have to create a code to actually make this happen. So that I was looking for. Maybe hopefully I will get that just to show you how B2C tenant work. But this is the idea behind that, right? So then if it is B2C, what about B2B? So B2B is exactly, suppose business to business, right? So some company has opened that Google. We just talked about that. So, and they have thousands of users there, and they want to connect to your account. So you create another tenant, and then you purchase premium services of Active Directory if you want, and then you can go for SSO connecting to that. So B2B or business to business will be connected then. So that's overall the idea behind. Basically, B2C is more used, but obviously, whichever company has whichever scenario, then B2B is also useful. So so that is why does it hide? Okay. Okay, so it's BC tenant. Okay. Now, okay, so here, which type of users will you manage in this? Yeah, so I was just talking about that. If you go for different types of connectivity of from external identities is all about that somebody from outside wants to connect, obviously. So either you send an invitation to those guys one by one, or you connect the whole organization to you with SSO, right? And there are so many other ways where you can design the connectivity. So obviously it's a pretty big topic, but go for at least Google connectivity to your Microsoft 365. Okay, so and yeah, there's cross-tenant synchronization here, and it says what is cross-tenant synchronization? Cross-tenant synchronization is an Azure Active Directory feature that enables you to automatically synchronize identities across tenants in your organization. So we were talking about, hey, tenant to tenant, there is no sync, right? It does not sync here. Automatically, by default, yes, it does not. But maybe you want to sync, then what? So in that case, you can actually do cross-tenant synchronization. And cross-tenant synchronization enables you to automate provisioning identities. Identities means username, passwords across tenants in your organization and simplify collaboration within your organization. So suppose your organization has multiple tenants, and it's a pretty common thing, but you do want cross-tenant synchronization of identities, which is whatever users were created. There are 10,000 users here, 10K users, right? And there are 50K users here. So are you sure you want to synchronize? Obviously, if it's a business need, then yes. So you can synchronize as well. But obviously, is that your use case? And if yes, then is cross-tenant synchronization right for you? If you're looking to enable users within your organization to collaborate across tenants, then obviously it is for you. Otherwise, don't do that. Scenarios supported by cross-tenant. So what scenarios are there? Automate B2B user creation across tenants in your organization, business to business. Now it could be that so one employee joined, and it's a very big company, right? So that employee joined here, you created a full account here, but you then have to create the same account for that person here as well. Why do you do it 2 times? Why not you just enable synchronization then? If you have to do it, then why not automate it, right? So market needs troubleshooters, market needs automators. 2 things market needs. But before that, obviously, you need to know the inside out of the whole cloud infrastructure. Then troubleshooters, automators. These 2 market always are in demand of. If you are a troubleshooter, if you resolve your issues, problems by Googling, by chat GPTing, or YouTubing, and you're a good troubleshooter, and then are you an automator as well? So did you automate? How much? Where did you automate? What did you automate? What tools you know for automation, right? So all that really counts. Okay, so here, you want to do that cross-tenant synchronization, then this is for you. Otherwise, don't go for that. Automate B2B user creation across tenants in your organization. Enrich B2B users with data from the home tenant and manage the life cycle of the user. So whatever data is coming from your production tenant, you want to manage that. Suppose there is data being sent across the tenant as well, although they are supposed to be. The very reason of creating a tenant is, hey, you want separation of administration, but in other, maybe you do want separation of administration, but you still want some level of synchronization. So then you come here, right? Enable sharing apps across tenants while leveraging the Azure AD IAM capabilities. This is a big name here, and you should mention that in terminology here. And you should mention that in your resume, in identity and access management. And well, this is going to be an eye catcher, for others, the recruiters. So create a new configuration. If I go for create a new configuration here, new cross-tenant synchronization configuration, create a cross-tenant synchronization configuration by providing a name. You will be able to define your settings and start provisioning later in the setup. Provide a name for your organization. We do have 2 tenants here. So tenant sync test, suppose. Next steps, after creating your configuration with default parameters, you will be taken to the configuration details page to manage advanced settings. I'm just gonna click create here. And one day, Monday or Sunday, go for the bell icon, or if you don't like bell, you can go for Rogers. Okay. So here, tenant sync test, automate identity lifecycle management with Azure Active Directory. So identity means your username, passwords. Lifecycle management. Okay, when did you create the username, password? How long will it stay? When is it expiring and deleting? So that is the life cycle of identity. Automatically create, update, and delete accounts when users join, leave, and move within your organization. Wow. So Jamin says identity includes only users. Well, identity includes service accounts, service principals as well. So yeah, anything that has a username, password, and can access your resources. Yep. Cool. So service principal is used only for applications, and service accounts also only used for applications. So yeah, identity includes all of those as well. Even applications, well, when application needs authentication, they use service principal. So um, what is a service principal? Let me just give you an idea about that. Like when we are creating service principals where applications need authentication to do something. So there's an application here. There are applications here, and maybe for some automated task, they need to get authorization or authentication from Active Directory, and then they can do that task. So you have to build a bridge between the application to communicate with Active Directory, get authentication, and do its task. How do you do that? There's a thing called app registration here. And in app registration, you go for new registration, and then suppose it's the application service principal. Service principal just means basically again a user account with a password. So service principal or some entity with a password that requires authentication to do something. So you can create register, and then you can go for, so it gives you application client ID. You can connect it to some application. So this is created in Active Directory, right? So then you can decide that that application that you're connecting this to, you're creating certificates and secrets here, and API permissions and token configurations that you want. So basically, you're connecting it to whatever application you connect. You come here, you create app registration, you give this authentication information, or especially this certificate and secrets information to that application, whatever the application is running. And then the application simply uses service principal to get authentication from Active Directory. So first you create this service principal, where certificates and secrets are shown. So if I go to the diagram here, so there's an application here, and application wants authentication from Active Directory, AAD, Azure Active Directory. So now application needs some kind of user account or some kind of entity that has a username password to show that, hey, I am requesting some kind of authentication via this service principal that I created. Principal. So this service principal that I showed you there in the phrase of as app registrations. This app registration helps you create service principal. What does service principal do? This is the name I gave. But it's called service principal when you create that. What is the purpose of this? Purpose is that whichever application wants to get authentication authorization for its automated task that it's doing from Active Directory. So if you attach service principal, that then what it does is application through service principal requests Active Directory or communicates with Active Directory, corresponds with Active Directory. Active Directory then says that, oh, what do you want to do? And application says, I want to do this task and I need your authentication. And through service principal, Active Directory talks to the application and says, okay, you are allowed to do this. And what kind of permissions that has? If I go back here, I think I showed there permissions. So user read permission, but you can add many permissions here. I saw graph, application permissions, and then you can go for access review, administrative unit, agreement, and there are huge amount of types of tasks that application is allowed to do. Right now, it's user read. So this means that if I go back here, application can ask Active Directory that, hey, I need to request and retrieve information of user John, user Bob, user Sandy, user Robin. So can I do that? So through service principal that is printed in Azure Active Directory, and with this only permission, there could be many types of permissions. User read permission. So can I just read the Active Directory to grab information about user? And Active Directory says, yes, you have that permission defined in service principal. So yes, I allow you to do that. So yeah, that's overall another way. This is nothing related to, no, this experience is not like you create a user, but it does exactly that kind of thing, that application needs some kind of service principal or some kind of authentic entity that can let it talk to Active Directory. So the user accounts and service principals, these are all used. User accounts for users, service principals for applications. Okay, so no, so there's a question there. Just like computer accounts in ADDS are service principals, right? So computer accounts also exchange their passwords with Active Directory, but they're not intermediary, entities that let to let an application talk to Active Directory. They are the requester themselves. So they would not be service principal. So computers in ADDS would not be service principals, but service principal is that it lets an application talk to, it's an intermediary entity that lets someone talk to someone else. It's in the middle. Okay, so just mediator on behalf, exactly, mediator on behalf, exactly, that would be the wording. But yes, that's how it is. And you in cloud, as a cloud administrator, you will be, developers will be coming to you and they will be asking, hey, I need a source principal for my application. And then yes, we have to go through all that to create that. Okay. So we were talking about service principals and external identities, and oh yeah, we were talking about cross-tenant synchronization. So I had actually created that name there, and if I go to configuration, so there is that name that I created, tenant. We have two tenants as well, but it says pretty much that thing, that hey, you want to really do cross-tenant synchronization, so then go ahead with this. So there are users and groups here. So if I go get started here, use the tools and administrative interfaces provided by tenancy test to provision and deprovision the user account records stored in tenancy test. So they're just saying that you want to do it manually or you want to do it automatic. If you go to automatic, then what is the tenant ID and test connection between that tenant? Ouch. This is the tab that I'm in, right? So if I go for the other tab and go to overview and manage tenants, and I need the tenant ID for that. So yeah, I think that's organization ID. Yeah, this is the tenant ID. So it's saying that what is the other tenant basically, right? So I say that cross-tenant synchronization policy and tenant ID is this. And do you have a connection to that tenant? It could be yes, it could be no, with some error. Or you appear to have entered invalid credentials. Oh yeah, I didn't add any credentials. Seriously? Oh yeah, certain email notification, prevent accidental deletion, accidental deletion threshold. Where did it ask for that? Admin credentials. Azure needs the following information to connect tenancy, tenant identity, automated, oh, save. No. Window while provisioning. What account am I logged in? Yeah, it's the global admin. Well, there are background configurations that are needed, but I'll go back here. Overall idea, just wanted to show and some of the options that we can explore. I'll just go back here again, users and groups. So that the application will not appear for assigned users with my apps. No, we're not doing that. Assign users and groups to app roles for your application here to create new app roles. Okay. So yes, it is obviously if there's an application here, this is the channel. These two channels supposed to be to synchronize. So there has to be some kind of application deployed here, and users from here want to access that application, right? We haven't deployed any application in dev tenant, or if there are users here and there's an application here. So, and these features are with AAD Premium, right? So AAD Premium or Azure Active Directory Premium is here for tenant, but you have to purchase it there for dev tenant if you want, the application to be deployed, and then users could be connecting there. So there is some expense to that, but basically this is what is required. There has to be an application registration has to be there as well. And other than that, if I go to add user and group, yes, some users could be added there. Alex and all those, Adele and Alex, but those users still need to have access to some kind of application on the other side, which we don't have. There's app roles here and users and groups. Yeah, so the thing is that app roles have been defined, but they are defined on this tenant only, but not in the other tenant, dev tenant. So there's kind of expense here as well that you need to do. You have to add Azure Activity Premium there and then set up some application there, and then you can do some synchronization. So cross-tenant synchronization is possible. What we knew before that, okay, by default, they don't talk to each other, but maybe you want them to at least sync some user information. So that is possible as well through cross-tenant synchronization. ONK. Then there's user experiences, company branding. So you can, within Active Directory, you can upload logo and you can upload wallpaper with custom sizes. And then you can show it as a company experience as well. If I go customize that, so they say that upload background image, favicon, or choose background color. So you can go for some kind of branding there, layout, header, footer, sign-in form. So when you're logging into Active Directory or Azure, then you can actually choose the wallpaper and logo and background you can put there. So I didn't do that in my company, but I don't have the proper logos and proper sized banners. Otherwise, yeah, your Microsoft 365 would look amazing when some user is trying to log in. And you can put all kind of instructions there as well. And users would know this is my company related, um, Microsoft 365 sign in. So yeah, that you can do as well. But I don't have the pictures there. So, okay. Other than that, hybrid management. Okay, 151. Azure Connect. So yeah, we did that already. and monitoring and health. So sign-in logs there and sign-in events. So that is I'm connecting from Tobico. This is my current IP, which normally changes in a few hours. Lynn Robin logged in. So sign-in activity across the Active Directory is very, very important area. And who connected at what time, from where, with which IP. So all that information. So keep an eye on that from time to time. Maybe on Monday, whenever you log in, just check. Okay, this weekend who connected here? Oh, this weekend that person connected from Germany, and I know that employee. He never went to Germany, or he didn't. He couldn't go to Germany in 2 days. So this means red alert right away, right? Anyway, so keep an eye on those logs. Audit logs here just say tell what we have been doing across and what was successfully provisioned or uh, uh, deployed. I've just created tenant sync test, right? So that was done, and there was things that I was trying to do, and so all this activity of Active Directory is shown here. Audit logs is very, very important, that who was doing what at what time, with which application or which feature someone was playing. So it's very important. Audit logs. Provisioning logs, you deployed something, you deployed a lot of users or application here. So those logs will be here. Health is this preview, where it gives you overall health of SLA attainment, provides a report of Azure AD's user authentication availability per month. So user authentication is available. It is healthy. Users are getting properly authenticated. So that is here per month. Log analytics, yes, you have to enable that. If there are some applications that are creating log files and you want to analyze them and show the log activity in a fancy graph or charts, then you configure that. It does create a storage account in Microsoft Azure, and it costs you as well. Diagnostic settings here, and something is required to use this capability. Start editing. So diagnostic settings would just give you some reports about Active Directory, that what tool or what section of Active Directory was performing well, or if not well, then which tool was not performing well. Oh, so like so Jimmy says this is their area help me to integrate Salesforce SSO mistakes. And oh, okay. You were talking about audit logs, sign logs. Oh, wow. Okay. So you went there and here to check that what's going on with Salesforce. Okay, that's very good. Wow, amazing. Okay, guys, give me a second. Hello, hello. Sorry, guys. Well, anyway. So okay, it's a field or success detail info. Oh yes, so definitely that was a very good thing to go for and check that who got logged in and who did not. So thanks for sharing that. Sign in logs and audit logs. We should see that when we are doing SSO lab as well. So that's very good. So guys, we're gonna cover the workbooks, usage and insights, bulk operations. But this was done. Then next week, obviously, now we're going to go for well, this is done. Identity governance, permissions management, and verified ID. This is kind of also trial services that sometimes work and sometimes don't. Okay, anyway, so we're going to go through that, and then we're going to start the exchange online, which is the next course, of course. So yeah, it's been long just finishing the Active Directory. And I'll try to start creating small videos of PowerShell and PowerShell CLI and Power CLI, which is very important and critical. And soon, hopefully, I could add some labs of creating users quickly, creating groups quickly, and we. So whatever we are doing, click, click, click. There's a alternate for PowerShell as well. So whatever we did today, there's all that can be done with PowerShell as well. Everything. But when we start figuring it out, if we are not PowerShell gurus already and we are not using PowerShell every day, then it's going to be very difficult to really explore that. So I just need to push us towards PowerShell here. So we could at least one PowerShell commandlet a day is very, very important for you. So for everyone, obviously. So I'll create videos, small videos, maybe 1 minute videos, even shorts, right? And upload on YouTube and start sharing with you. But do try all those commands and how to set up PowerShell once, and then how to search anything inside, how to go wherever we want to go. If we get used to that, then we can only go for whatever we click today. How to do all that in PowerShell, right? So go for always think whenever you're doing any lab, think, hmm, how could I do it with PowerShell, right? So just think about that. If you can actually do it, wow, amazing. Hey guys, so have a nice weekend and see you next week. Uh, Thank you. All right, thank you. Bye bye. You.